In recent dev articles and Into the Light live streams, Bungie has finally lifted the curtain on the weapon enhancement system that has previously been exclusive to Crota's End and Root of Nightmare's Adept weapons. Now it is being expanded to the weapons released in Update 7.3.5, Into the Light's Brave Arsenal, and beyond. However, a lot of people aren't familiar with the system, so they think that it just means these weapons will be made craftable or behave exactly like the Raid Adept weapons. This isn't true. And with yesterday's PvE podcast interview with Chris Proctor, we finally have all the missing pieces. So let me explain exactly how the system will work, what weapons can get multiple enhanced perks, and some of the pain points I'm sure a lot of you will have. Now, crafting in this enhancement system I've covered a lot on my channel, as it is an interesting yet complex topic, but I believe it holds the key to solve crafted weapon power creep and reinvigorate the loot chase. In a nutshell, the weapon enhancement system will allow any weapon that is compatible with the system to enhance the main trait perks, those found in column 3 and 4. Weapons have to be designed from the ground up with this system in mind. That's why they have been exclusive to a certain set of weapons and are not going to be backwards compatible with old weapons of the same name. Meaning, you'll be able to enhance the newly released Season 23 version of the Summoner, but not the old Season 16 version. All the new weapons released since Update 7.3.5 will be enhanceable retroactively in the final shape. Additionally, enhanced weapons get the crafted stat bonus of a couple points to the non-masterwork stats upon reaching level 20, with adepts getting even more. However, unlike crafted weapons, nearly all enhanced weapons will not be able to change the column 1 and 2 perks, so your barrels and mags, or their masterwork. Changing of barrels and mags will remain exclusive to raid adepts, confirmed in yesterday's interview. Now the reasoning is that raid weapons are craftable, so fully customizable. For raid adepts to be a step above them and worth chasing, they too need to have that functionality. Otherwise, you're trading off customization for just adept mods, which depending on the weapon and activity, don't really amount to much. The other big addition is the capability of enhancing multiple perks in column 3 and 4. Previously, this wasn't technically possible, which is why the Ron and Crota adepts only have one perk per column. With more development time on the system and the inclusion of new tech, now you can enhance multiple perks. So for those adepts you're getting in Trials and GMs, or those foil limited edition Brave weapons you get from Onslaught, you'll be able to enhance all its perks and freely select between them. Eagle-eyed folks may have noticed the changes to the Enclave's crafting UI, shifting a bunch of boxes to the left. Now we know it's to make space for multiple enhanced perks. Do note that this does not mean you'll be able to craft weapons with multiple enhanced perks. Going off of last year's interview with Chris Proctor, this is something they don't want to do. And that makes sense, because if you allow craftable weapons to have multiple enhanced perks, then why still bother with RNG and adept counterparts? Before we get to the main pain points, let's go over why this is a big deal and how you should use this information. The why is simple. Now all weapons are brought up to the same perk power. Even though the stat bonus or perk effectiveness of enhanced perks versus normal weren't really that big, enhanced perks were objectively better. This power, coupled with the sheer number of great craftable weapons, has led to people caring less and less for normal drops. It's cool that Cold Comfort exists, but I can just go craft an Apex the way I like and get enhanced perks to boot. By leveling the playing field, all weapons are at the same perk power floor. It now comes down to the weapon type, feel, perk combination, as well as other unique features to separate them. As to how to utilize this information, it comes down to one thing. Don't get starstruck by enhanced perks. Since they are no longer exclusive to crafted weapons, it's no longer a main selling point. So don't let that distract you. While you are chasing all of these weapons released recently and with Into the Light, look at the bigger picture of how the weapon feels, what perks it offers, and what place it has in your arsenal. Now, I'm sure many of you are upset about aspects of the system, myself included. The biggest complaint is that of not being able to change the barrels and mags of weapons unless they are raid adepts. This ire I can understand. If this system was for at least all adepts, players would be happier, since getting the main face perks in and of itself can be hard enough due to the rarity of the weapon type. So if there was ever wiggle room for Bungie to change the system, expanding to all adepts would be the most likely compromise. However, expanding the feature to all weapons is not going to happen, and ruins a couple aspects of the game in my opinion. I get RNG can be fickle. Just focusing on the face perks in column 3 and 4 has the odds of your drop being 1 in 36 to 1 in 64. Factoring in barrels, mags, and masterwork, and that balloons into the several thousand. But the general potency of a weapon comes down to the column 3 and 4 perks. barrels and mags offer further customization, but aren't necessarily the make or break for a weapon, and the masterwork is just a little extra cherry on top. Yes, they affect the feel of a weapon and can help them perform better by increasing their fluidity and ease of use, but the raw power comes from the active perks. A lot of this anger and pushback comes down to god roll perfectionism. We want what we want, the best of the best. But oftentimes the best is so marginal that you can't discern it from good enough. Additionally, if we were to make all enhanced weapons behave like crafted weapons, we are now really feature creeping weapon crafting, which is crazy, and getting closer and closer to static rolls and an uninteresting weapon grind. Now, I'm not saying grinding weapons is always fun and for everyone, and I'm not trying to remove weapon crafting. I'm just trying to see what the game would look like if both systems could coexist effectively, and that is what Bungie is trying to do. By leaving barrels and mag customization to crafted weapons, it gives that set of weapons something unique. Allowing raid adepts that feature allows them to directly compete with their crafted variants and pushes players into harder activities. Plus, since the technical challenges are dealt with, I could see a return to raid adepts dropping with multiple perks per column again, just like the other adepts in the game. And for RNG weapons, they are now at the same perk power as crafted weapons, but get advantages of rolling with multiple perks in a column. If RNG and the grind are the true enemies, and what players are most upset about, then we need more ways to tip RNG in our favor that doesn't boil everything down to a checklist. And that is something Bungie is doing and have done in the past. We just need them to do that more. With the new Brave Arsenal, you'll be able to attune to a specific weapon, making it a 50% drop chance from chests in Onslaught. Couple that with the chance of getting those limited edition weapons with multiple perks, and you are more likely to get the roll you want. I like this, but I think Bungie can go further. Before weapon crafting, at least 2 seasonal relics allowed us to further impact our weapon drops. Veteran players will remember the Chalice of Opulence. This allowed you to directly pick what weapon would drop as well as its masterwork. Season of the Hunt had the Cryptolith Lure, which functioned like the Chalice, but also allowed players to exclude specific perks from dropping on the weapon. These systems are what I'd like to see implemented, as you allow the player more agency over their loot drops, help drastically lower those RNG odds, but still get the rush of having a weapon drop and getting excited to see if it's your god roll. This is part of the magic of a looter shooter, getting excited of when the loot drops, as well as when you're playing the activity. RNG in a grind should exist, but the player should have multiple ways to tip odds in their favor, and different avenues to get loot based on their playstyle. Crafting as a reward for casual weekly engagement. Adept augmentation to reward and incentivize endgame play. Various interactive and gameplay emergent levers to reward continual engagement. Everyone should be able to get what they want, but that doesn't mean it'll be handed to you. Sometimes you gotta put in some work. In any case, that's what you need to know about the expansion of the weapon enhancement system. Personally, I think it's great that we are finally getting this, and it's motivated me to chase the majority of the new weapons. Let me know how you feel about all this in the comments, as I know it's not exactly what everyone wanted. But I don't think it's Bungie shooting themselves in the foot or disrespecting the player. They are trying to give pros and cons to everything. While you're down there, consider subscribing and hitting the bell next to subscribe to get notified of my future Destiny content. And then come swing by the Sundog Gaming Discord if you want to go down the Destiny rabbit hole and make some new friends. As always, I am your Commander Pika. Be kind, have fun, and I'll see you on the battlefield.